aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden, good to be back in the saddle. Hope you all had a productive weekend. I sure did. We blew the roof off of the Hoosier Jamboree this last weekend in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Over 150 people attended. Dr. Wallach was there. I was there. Marvin Ropp was there, giving his agricultural presentation, plus some other enlightening news about the relationship between culture and the pharmaceutical industry. So I'm going to try to have Marvin on here, hopefully on this Thursday for Metaphysical Thursday, so he can tell us his interpretation of what pharmacy means to people of faith, extracted directly from the Old and the New Testament. Interesting stuff. Remember, we don't hold ourselves out as this is a non-secular show, right? We don't we believe, of course, in the spiritual reality which inhabits and informs every human being, but we don't espouse any particular religious discipline. We don't, because this is a health talk, holistic health talk radio program. However, because it's holistic, we must therefore appreciate, understand, and respect the existence of the spiritual force as it inhabits the human body, and therefore respect all different religions around the world as they attempt to navigate these spiritual territories. We're going to have Marvin Ropp on here, hopefully this Thursday, to tell us his understanding of what pharmacy means. Fascinating stuff. Lots of people came up to me in Fort Wayne with personal testimonials and personal thank yous. I found that very rewarding, quite frankly, because, you forget. I talked to so many people over the course of so many weeks and so many months and so many years that I forget what advice I told to somebody whenever I told it to him. And as it turns out, a lot of the advice that I've been disseminating has been very helpful. Got a lot of nice pats on the back, people that are just, their lives were changed through medical nutrition. And I'm encouraging them all to call in and tell the world their story. In any event, we had a great time. It was a good turnout, and we're experimenting with new technology here at Dr. Glidden, the drgliddenshow.tv. We have a real high-tech camera, super high definition. So if you're listening on the radio waves and you would like to watch the live video stream, please go to the drgliddenshow.tv, the drgliddenshow.tv, where you can tune in and turn on to the live video stream. Now, I gave a lecture last Thursday night for insiders, Dr. Glidden Insiders and their guests exclusively, for Dr. Glidden Insiders and their guests exclusively. It was an hour and 5-minute long expose on epigenetics. And epigenetics is the newest field of scientific inquiry, which the founder of Youngevity, Dr. Joel Wallach, my mentor, colleague, and friend, had the unique experience of being one of the founders of this whole field of health research. Epigenetics is the study of how the stress of life, nutrient deficiencies, pollution, ionizing radiation, antioxidant activity, how the stress of life impacts your genetic material and therefore your health. It was a really good lecture. It was really well attended. I think there were 160 people watching the live event. I think 2,000 or 3,000 have watched it. It's been shared since last Thursday night. And I'd like to just go over a couple of the more salient points about this lecture, because there is misinformation abundantly present in the world, which we are attempting all of the time to get on the other side of, and to help people, just kind of understand, hey, it's not this, it's this. Right? 2 + 2 does not equal 5, it equals 4. And once you figure out that it equals 4, everything changes. So let's talk about the BRCA gene. And if you're watching the live video stream, I'm going to pull up the slides that a couple of the slides that were in my presentation for last Thursday night. And by the way, if you missed last Thursday's presentation and you want to watch the whole thing from start to finish, go to drglidden.com, click on the link to become an insider, And as an insider, you will enjoy immediate access to over 200 hours of health webinars that are in my archives, the latest addition to which was the webinar that I produced last week on epigenetics. It's there for the watching, exclusively for insiders and their guests. Check it out, drglidden.com. Click on the link to become an insider. So here we go. We're going to pull up the slides and take a look at it. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening again through the live radio stream on a terrestrial radio station, and you want to watch the video feed, go to thedrgliddenshow.tv. That's thedrgliddenshow.tv. Now, people will tell you, they told Angelina Jolie, and they will tell everybody in the world that the BRCA gene is the cause of cancer, and that if you test positive for the BRCA gene, you need to have your breast cut off preemptively. You need to have preventive medicine done. And when MDs talk about prevention, they talk about cutting and burning and drugging. And so they have convinced tens of thousands, if not more, of people to undergo double mastectomies, whether you're a man or a woman, if you test positive for the BRCA gene. But they forget to tell them that the BRCA gene is not a gene. The BRCA gene is not a gene. What's that, you say, Dr. Glidden? It's not a gene. Well, what the heck is it? Haven't the breast cancer people been telling me all the time that this is a gene and that I can inherit it and that, oh my God, I'm going to die if I have it? Well, knowledge is power. Let's take a look. It may interest you to know that the BRCA1 and the BRCA2 gene, by the way, BRCA is a bad acronym. It is a bad acronym for the gene which geneticists labeled the BRCA gene. And there are two of them, BRCA1 and BRCA2. Somebody in the media started calling it BRCA, and it caught on, and even though it's bad English, this is what we call it, the BRCA gene. The BRCA1 and the BRCA2 genes are normally expressed in the cells of the breast. These are normal, healthy gene expressions, where they help to repair damaged DNA or destroy the cells if the DNA cannot be repaired. These genes are involved in the repair of chromosomal damage and very important in the role of error-free repair of DNA strands. So your genetic material, your DNA, expresses itself all of the time. Makes another breast cell, makes another eye cell, makes another bone cell, makes whatever. That's what your genes do, in part. They do a lot of things, but this is one of the major things that they do, is they stimulate or they're the blueprints for the production of new tissue in the body, right? So the BRCA1 and the BRCA2 genes are normal, healthy genes in the human body, without which you would die slowly and horribly, because your breasts would not, your cells in your breast, whether you're a man or a woman, would not be able to repair themselves and keep themselves up. I mean, can you imagine what your automobile would be like if you never tuned it up? Never tuned it up, ever tuned it up, never tuned it up. You know, it would start to fall apart quickly. Well, your body would too if it doesn't have self-repair mechanisms, and the self-repair mechanisms, two of them anyway, in breast tissue, man or woman, are BRCA1 and BRCA2, BRCA1 and BRCA2. Interesting, isn't it? If BRCA1 or BRCA2 become damaged by a mutation, if they become damaged by a mutation, the damaged DNA is not repaired properly, and this increases the risk for breast cancer. The BRCA gene related to breast cancer, is not a gene. It is a mutation of a healthy gene, but your medical doctor will never tell you this. It's not a gene, it's a mutation of a gene. Now, the BRCA1 and the BRCA2 genes themselves, we already know, are involved with the repair of cellular tissue. They're involved with the repair of damaged genetic material. So we know that the body can repair damaged genetic material. That's what the BRCA1 and BRCA2 genes do. In their healthy state, they repair damaged DNA. Now you have a mutated, damaged gene, which has damaged DNA in it. So one would assume, therefore, that the body must have a mechanism either not to become mutated in the first place or perhaps to repair itself. But medical doctors do not go there. They do not think this through. And all of the research that's being generated now is to have more efficient, less expensive testing for the mutation so that more and more people can go under the knife to have radical mastectomies, because that's where all the money is. Again, one of life's greatest ironies, that the gene concerned with breast cancer predominance is not a gene, it's a mutation of a gene, and it's a mutation of a gene, the job of which is to repair damaged DNA. So you would think that medical science would want to investigate what causes the mutation to happen in the first place, and or what can you do to help the body fix the mutation that's there, because we already know that the body does that. But they don't go there. They don't do that because, again, the MDs are not concerned with how to cure cancer. They're not. They're concerned with how to manage it. I know that they'll tell you that they're raising money to find a cure, but they are not. Are you kidding me? After $1 trillion nearly of research on breast cancer, we're no closer to a cure than we were 40, 50 years ago. It is unbelievable to me that this type of nonsense goes on in an academic circle. And, you know, we don't have a free medical market. We don't have open academics anymore. It's all pharmaceutical centrist, pharma money, big pharma money, reductionistic research. They're not concerned with how to fix it. They're concerned with how to manage it. And they dish out misinformation all of the time. Well, guess what? There's a new sheriff in town, Dr. Peter Glidden. Welcome to the new frontier. Science-based, clinically verified, sophisticated, smart, and effective medical nutrition. Stick around. Back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, welcoming you to another live edition of Fire Your MD Now. Check out the live video stream, the drgliddenshow.tv. And for goodness sake, become an insider, get information, get access to information that literally can and does all of the time save lives. You don't have a bad gene, you have a bad doctor. The BRCA gene is not a gene, it's a mutation of a gene. And medical science is not concerned with what causes the mutation. Quite frankly, medical science doesn't even know for sure that you have inherited this gene. I mean, it may be entirely possible that the BRCA gene that's in your mother's egg and the BRCA gene that's in your father's sperm, they're both there, are normal and healthy. And that as the baby, as you are developing in utero, as you were developing in utero, nutrient deficiencies made the genes mutate. Or the genes didn't mutate until you were 9 or 10 years old. They haven't figured that out yet. But they tell you, oh, that you've inherited it. And they haven't proven that, in fact, you have inherited it. But, you know, in medical world, Machiavellian, intellectually cowardly medical land, it becomes reality by consensus. And once 10 doctors say it, well, that's the way that it is. I mean, for goodness sake, years ago, the MDs told us, oh, no, microbes don't exist, and if you wash your hands, that's medical heresy, and you should be thrown out of medical science for making the ridiculous assumption that there are these tiny particles that we can't even see that are causing disease. Oh, no, you can't be a doctor if you say that. You're out of here. Then they told us, well, to make yourself better, you have to swallow large amounts of mercury and calomel and purge yourself. And then they told you you have to cut your arteries open and bleed out the bad humors from the body. Then they told us, well, you know what? We were wrong. Microbes really are real, but the only way you can deal with them is man-made antibiotics, sold to you at a profit. And the delivery of man-made antibiotics as an exclusive de facto treatment for bacterial diseases has become the unbelievable explosion of antibiotic-resistant germ infections, bacterial infections. This is the next plague. Antibiotic-resistant bacterial infections. It is a big, bad voodoo daddy brought to you by your MD. Then they told us everything's genetic. Then they switched, and now they're saying, no, it's epigenetic. But again, they're not concerned with what causes it. They're not rational thinkers. They're not. They think inside of the box of which they were taught. They're never going to go outside of it, because if they go outside of it, they open themselves up for lawsuits, and they open themselves up to be excommunicated from their own medical profession, and they are not going to do that. The last person you want to bring your body to, if you're suffering with cancer, if you're suffering from a chronic disease, if you're suffering from anything other than trauma or surgery, which is absolutely necessary, is an MD. Because they have nothing for you besides snake oil. By the way, the only people that are disseminating snake oil in the world have MD after their name. Well, they'll tell you it's the chiropractors, they'll tell you it's the homeopaths, they'll tell you it's everybody but them, but in point of fact, the leading cause of death in the United States, MD-directed medical treatments. Vioxx killed 500,000 people, and that was snake oil. Premarin, snake oil, supposed to treat. Premarin was a man-made synthetic hormone made from 2 parts horse hormone, 1 part human hormone. Oh yeah, nothing can go wrong with that. Supposed to treat a non-disease. It was given to hundreds of thousands, if not millions, probably millions by now, of women for a non-medical condition, hot flushes of menopause, mood swings of menopause, menopausal symptoms. It's a non-medical condition. And Premarin, only 3 problems with Premarin: breast cancer, uterine cancer, and deep vein thrombosis, thrombophlebitis. Thousands of women were given cancer because they were given Premarin, which is snake oil. It's supposed to help you with this, but instead it hurts you over here, and it's expensive. That's snake oil. The only people selling snake oil have MD after their name. We need to just, all of us, we need to just lift our heads out of the sand, wake up, look around, get a clue, and remember, again, thank God for Novocaine, right? Thank God for penicillin. Thank God for the sterile technique most of the time. The MDs have their place in the world, and their place in the world is trauma care, surgery when it's necessary. They do great things with surgery. They really do. But like the fella said, when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So even if you don't need surgery, the surgeon's going to tell you to get surgeried. And so we go, following the advice of the conventional medical doctor, into the land of bankruptcy, suffering, and death. And then our relatives are so grief-stricken at our passing that they do a 5K run to raise more money. And who do they give it to? The same people that failed them, the same people that bankrupted them, and the same people that killed their relatives. Snap out of it. I am the red pill. This is Dr. Glidden. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. For goodness sake. Right? I mean, just stop it. Stop going to your MD, because what do they have? Pain and suffering, pain and suffering, pain and suffering. Therapeutics built on the shifting sands of reductionism, which change every 3 months. Oh, first your cholesterol should be this, now it should be this. First your blood pressure should be this, now it should be this. You got the BRCA gene, you need to have your breasts cut off preemptively. You got to be kidding me. You need chemotherapy. Even though it doesn't work. Chemotherapy was proven to be 97% ineffective. It doesn't work. The MDs have even given up trying to even convince the world that they're up for a cure. Right? Now they have a 5-year recovery. Well, if you have a mainstream cancer intervention, and you're still alive 5 years from now, that's considered a positive intervention. Even though your personality goes to the crapper, your immune system goes to the crapper, the quality of your life goes to the crapper, but they kept you alive for 5 years. It goes in the books as a successful treatment. You've got to be kidding me. Fire your medical doctors, ladies and gentlemen, and step into the light of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. If you're listening on a terrestrial radio station and you like our message and you want to learn more, you want to learn how to get the products at the wholesale price, you want to learn more about what we're doing, listen on the commercial breaks, during the commercial breaks on your terrestrial radio station, and call the number that your radio station gives out for information about Youngevity. There is somebody in your town standing by right now to take your phone call and give you information about how you can increase your body's ability to optimize its structure and function with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, and/or information about the business opportunity brought forth by Youngevity, which is awesome. If you found me all by yourself, then please go to my website, drglidden.com. That's drglidden.com, or call 844-357-3696. That's 844-347-3696. And if someone invited you here, a friend invited you here, or pointed you here, or even if it was a total stranger, and they gave you information about how to listen to this radio program and you want to learn more, get with them, because undoubtedly they are an independent longevity business owner, and their job is to usher you into the light of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. This is one team all around the world made up of thousands of independent distributors, and we support that cause through and through. Let's go to Georgia and talk to Ruth about my least favorite relative, arthritis. Hey, Ruth, welcome aboard. You are live.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you today about gout and osteoarthritis.
Yeah, gout and osteoarthritis?
Mm-hmm.
Well, from our position, those are both pretty painful, right? Gout, from our position, is a problem with the liver. And gout can also be related to chronic nutrient deficiencies, which cause low-level inflammation all of the time, which then kind of snowballs on itself into a strong and persistent symptom. Anybody that is suffering with gout needs to research which foods are high in purines, P-U-R-I-N-E-S. They need to research which foods are high in purines. And in addition to the 10 bad foods, they need to stop eating the foods that are high in purines, because purines can aggravate a gouty condition. The fancy schmancy doctor talk for that is a gouty diathesis. But purines can aggravate a flare-up of an underlying gouty condition. So they need to stop eating the 10 bad foods and eliminate foods that are rich in purines. P like Peter, U-R-I, N like Nancy, E-S. Now, to support and promote the structure and function of somebody's body who's suffering from gout, the recommendation is eliminate the 10 bad foods, eliminate purines, and do one Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid. One Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid, one of those. One bottle of plant-derived minerals. One bottle of Cell Shield RTQ. And 2 bottles of selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. I'll read you that list again. One Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid. One Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid. 2 bottles of selenium. 1 bottle of Cell Shield RTQ. 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals. And 2 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Now, we do more or less the same thing for arthritis. With an arthritic condition, we recommend bone and joint support. Well, the bones need calcium and magnesium and a number of other minerals, but in addition to the minerals that the bones need to maintain their optimal structure and function, the body needs 90 essential nutrients, and the bones are connected to, everything is connected in the human body. So everybody gets the appropriate healthy pack with a couple of extra add-ons by way of holistic medical nutrition for the masses, the intention of which is for us to paint with a broad brush here and really give people everything that their bodies need to get on the other side of it. So the recommendation there would be the Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid, one of those.
Okay.
2 selenium.
Okay.
1 plant-derived minerals.
Okay.
Per 100 pounds of body weight per month. And then 1 bottle per month of Cal Toddy, C-A-L-T like Thomas, O-D-D-Y. Now, of course, they need to eliminate the 10 bad foods also, and anybody that's dealing with a bone or a joint problem needs to, in addition to eliminating the 10 bad foods, they really need to stay a long way away from soda pop, because soda pop undoubtedly has a chemical in it called phosphoric acid, and if you drink too much soda pop, the phosphoric acid will leach minerals out of your bones, making your bones weaker. So if you're dealing with any type of a bone or a joint issue, you must stay away from soda pop in addition to the 10 bad foods.
This is a very healthy eater.
Well, all right. Or that's great. And so, from our point of view, however, our understanding of what's healthy and what's not is correct, but it is not what most people think. Because, my people are destroyed by lack of knowledge, and there are 10 foods that most people eat regularly that most people would think are healthy that we advise are not healthy. And people can get that list, of course, on my website for free, drglidden.com. If she's already down with dietary disciplines, then if she eliminates these foods as well, it's going to be easy breezy lemon squeezy for her, and it's really going to help a tremendous amount. So go to my website, download that list. It is free. And keep up the good work in Georgia, Ruth. We appreciate you. Don in Pennsylvania is up next. Hey, Don, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hey, Doc. Calling about my father, 66 years old, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, aches and pain. Not sure where to start. I mean, I know we do the blood sugar pack, but they've got him on, the blood pressure meds, statin meds, diabetes drug, beta blocker, Lasix, amlodipine, Plavix, naproxen, and a stomach acid pill.
Yeah, snake oil. So, what I would do, Don, because, look, parents are amongst the hardest people to introduce and to enroll into the holistic medical approach because, they're not going to listen to you. I mean, my parents, God rest their souls, they didn't listen to me. They didn't listen to me. And if they're not going to listen to me, I doubt very much that your parents are going to listen to you. So the best thing to do whenever we are interfacing with anybody, especially if it's our parents, is to let Dr. Wallach do the talking, right? So I would have your father listen to the Best of Dead Doctors Don't Lie, or let me do the talking. Send your father one of the webinars that I did. Get one of my DVDs and have him just play it and watch it. Or you can send him a webinar if you're an insider. He can watch it on his computer, one of the webinars that I've did. I've done hundreds of webinars on many different health conditions. And maybe if he hears it from the other medical professional, that will make him interested to give it a try, right? So the first thing that I would do here, if you can encourage him to, give the stuff a try, would be stop the 10 bad foods. That's really of massive importance here. Do the Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid, one of those, 1 plant-derived minerals, 2 bottles of selenium, and 1 bottle of Sweeties per 100 pounds of body weight per month. And then give him 4, 5, 6 boxes of Triple Treat chocolate a month. I mean, that, if nothing else, will make him smile. But he needs lots and lots and lots of antioxidants. Lots and lots and lots of antioxidants. And the Triple Treat chocolate has the highest antioxidant point per piece or per supplement of any longevity supplement, and that's where I would go there. But, we got to start somewhere. And if he doesn't want to do a gosh darn thing, then my recommendation would be give him a 1 bottle of the Beyond Osteo FX. Have him take 1 ounce twice a day and a little bit of orange juice each time, and that should immediately make him start sleeping through the night and also feel quite a bit better. So if you need a foot in the door product to kind of develop a dramatic result and give you the opportunity to enroll him in more stuff, I would start with the Beyond Osteo FX. And also remember, man, it's always best to let the let the doctor do the talking. It's not because there's anything special about us, really, but just that's the way people are wired, especially family members, and I wish it wasn't so.
Yeah, well, he's not getting any better. He's getting worse. So, despite all this meds, I think he's ready for something.
Well, okay, then that's how. Then maybe you can roll him in the whole boat, and that's always a better thing to do because everything's connected in the human body, and everybody needs the 90 essential nutrients to begin with. So the Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid, 1 of those, 1 plant-derived minerals, 2 selenium, and 1 bottle of Sweeties per 100 pounds of body weight per month is a really good place to start, Don. That's where I would begin. I appreciate you very much. James in Virginia is up next. We've got a couple minutes left in this segment. Hey, James, thanks for the call. You are live.
Thanks for taking my call. Appreciate it. I called you one time before, but I got some more information to kind of dig in a little deeper. But I really do appreciate, first, your your insider webinars. I tell you, it's I'm not sure if it's a good thing for me to get that much educated, because now if I were a dog, I think I'd probably have to go see all the doctors I could find, and I wouldn't bite them, but I'd get up in their face and I sure would be barking up a storm. But anyway, that's
Yeah, man.
It's kind of frustrating because you really want to say something, but you can't. I really want to say to him, I feel sorry for you, but, you just don't know. If you only knew, Anyway.
Well, give it a try once and see what happens. I mean, nothing ventured, nothing gained. We don't have to be militant about it. We don't have to be knuckleheads, but we can just be, polite and state our case, and that's never a bad idea.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Anyway, my wife has had hypopituitarism. I can't even say that word very well, but for a few years now, and they've had her on levothyroxine and hydrocortisone.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I know that's exactly what they do, and that's a bad idea. And stick around. We're up against a hard break, James.
Okay.
I'll bring you first up when we come back, and I'll answer your question. I appreciate your patience and your trust very much. Ladies and gentlemen, drglidden.com, that's where you want to go. Check it out. We fixed it. Ladies and gentlemen, where there is a will, there is a way. The technical problems that we have with the video stream are ironed out now. So check it out, drgliddenshow.tv. I appreciate your patience. Let's go back to James in Virginia and see if we can't finish this question. Oh, hold on just a sec. All right, James, you were saying?
Yes. Well, I can't say that the doctor is all that bad as far as my wife is. It's just sometime before I knew her, but they did save her life because nobody could figure out what was going on. And one specialist, endocrinologist, I guess, figured out, at least as far as I know, what the problem was. And once he started giving her the stuff, then that did bring her back. So, you can't totally fault them for that. But obviously I know the treatment they're giving her is not the right thing because there's a natural way. But anyway, so she gets a 6-month checkup, then they just took some blood a few days ago and got the results back yesterday, so that's what I was curious about. But the blood work came back. They said that, I think this is unrelated, but this is something else. The liver enzymes were high, whatever that means. But in addition, she said her potassium blood level was low, so they wanted to give her a prescription for potassium, but I think I told her, I said, listen, we're not going to get that. We're going to figure out something else because that's just one item, and who knows if he's going to get absorbed and all that. Now, only thing is, we've been taking Healthy Start Pack for a couple of months, but not totally faithfully, her less than me, but haven't got totally gluten-free yet. She makes some wonderful white bread. It's hard to turn down. He puts some hot butter on it, but anyway. Along with that, one more thing. Occasionally, she belches, not necessarily right after a meal, but just any time. Just a belch will come out, or a burp, or whatever you want to call it. And then also, sometimes she itches, but her skin is in wonderful condition. There's nothing on the surface to indicate any reason for an itch. Perfectly smooth, nice skin. But it seems to be, especially when she gets in the bed, she'll just start itching her back, and I'm sure that's related to the drugs she's taking.
All right. Well, yeah, I would agree. So, we need some intervention here, and just to be clear, right? The wheelhouse of the MD is trauma care. I mean, that's what they're good for. You're dying, they can bring you back to life, and that's great. And we're always big fans of that, big supporters of that. Yeah. Remember, it's not the gun, it's how it's used, right? It's not the drug, it's how it's used. So from our point of view, chronic problems with the pituitary are directly linked to the adrenal glands and the thyroid glands, so we need comprehensive endocrine support. The recommendation here would be a diet that's high in cholesterol. She needs to eat a diet that's high in cholesterol. And how much does she weigh, James?
105 pounds.
All right, that's easy then. Every month she needs one Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid, one Healthy Body Start 2.0 liquid, two selenium,
Right.
one immortalium,
Okay.
and one ultimate daily cap.
Daily. Okay.
Yeah, and I would also give one plant-derived minerals if I didn't already say that. She needs one plant-derived minerals as well. But
So
look, here's the deal, man.
The minerals in addition to the minerals
Yes.
that are already in the BTT?
Yes, that's correct,
Okay.
especially when we're dealing with this type of a situation.
Okay.
I would find a good chiropractor, and I would have the chiropractor check her head and her neck, because the skull bones need to be correct. If the skull bones aren't locked up correctly and placed correctly, the skull is like a big jigsaw puzzle. So you need to find a chiropractor who's versed in a type of treatment called craniosacral treatment. CRAN like Nancy, IO, sacral, SACRAL.
That's where the bunch of nerves come up through a collar-like thing on the inside of the neck.
Yeah. So you wanna find a craniosacral therapist who can assess her skull, the integrity of her skull and her neck, because if the curve in her neck is not correct, that's going to have a direct negative impact on her thyroid, which is then going to have a ripple effect on everything else. So we do the medical nutrition and the physical medicine, and for goodness sake, James, just stop the 10 bad foods. No more beating around the bush. You need to stop that stuff, man. Stick around, folks. Hour 2 is coming up. I'm Dr. Glidden, and this is the Dr. Glidden Show. Check out the live video stream, drgliddenshow.tv. Let's go to Judy in Ohio and see what's up. Hey, Judy, thanks for the call. You are live.
Yes, I'm age 75, 118 pounds, and I take 2 prescription blood pressure meds and Nature Thyroid. I take a grain and a half. I've been seeing a chiropractor for neck and low back pain. I had a car accident in 2010, and I've had quite a bit of prolotherapy on my back and thumbs. I have a hiatal hernia and tinnitus. I had my colon resection after a routine colonoscopy tear, and I have a lot of food allergies. I have not had gluten for about 4 years, and I don't eat dairy, soy, or stevia. And I don't eat fruit with other foods because it gives me gas. I don't have a problem with the 10 bad foods because the only thing I really had to give up was French fries and potato chips.
Yeah.
I'm really having a problem with the allergies. I started on the bone and joint pack on August the 22nd, and I just cannot get used to taking that. I get bloating and heartburn, and I thought I heard you say something about allergies, and so I started on a week ago a half a scoop of the BTT, a half ounce of the FX with 12-ounce water, and I take that for an hour and like 3 times a day. But I'm still having, feeling very nervous inside, and part of the time heartburn. I also started on September the 11th the enzymes and probiotics, selenium, and the Ultimate Daily.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm eating small meals often. I had a Heidelberg test 5 years ago.
Wow.
And the doctor said no HCl.
Yeah. By the way, the Heidelberg test is a really interesting test. It's where they put, it's also called the string test, that they put this little pH papers. Some of the more advanced clinics now, they have, it's like a little probe, and it's on the end of a string, and you swallow it. It goes into your stomach, and it measures how acidic your stomach acid is, and then they pull it back out. That must have been a pleasant experience. And
Mine didn't have a string.
Yours didn't have a string?
No, you just pass it.
Oh, so you passed it and then they looked at it. Yeah, so I guess the technology has advanced. So did I hear you right, Judy, that you were given a routine colonoscopy and they poked a hole in your colon and then they had to cut that part of your colon out?
Yes, and that was in 2012.
Yeah.
And he said it was a surgeon that did it, and he said that I had scarring and that made the scope tear.
Yeah. No, it wasn't the scarring that made the scope tear. It was the surgeons. That's just a cover-up.
I know.
For goodness
That's what I thought
sakes.
too.
Yeah, and they're still in business and they don't give a crap. And
I know.
Can you imagine what would happen if, you went to a chiropractor, right? And they did an adjustment and your colon tore and you needed a resection for your colon? I mean, they'd be drawn up on charges and they'd have their medical license revoked. But when MDs do it, they get away with it. And, it's just a gigantic problem.
I was 4 months homebound because I had 2 spots that drained.
Unbelievable. I mean, that's just horrible. So now that you've taken a smaller, more dilute dose of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, is it giving you any digestive upset? Is it causing gas or bloating or diarrhea?
Yeah, it is. It seems like the last couple of days I'm worse. But yesterday I was gone quite a bit, and I didn't stretch it out quite as much. And last night I just felt like nervous inside. I just felt terrible. But now today I've stretched it out a little more. I didn't know, should I be putting the FX in with the BTT when I try this?
Well, if you're feeling an inner sense of kind of anxiety, right, and like you're worked up, the first thing that I would do is I would take more calcium. What type of calcium are you taking every day, and how are you taking it?
I'm taking the FX.
Liquid or powder?
The liquid. And I've been mixing a half ounce with the BTT, and then I've been taking a half ounce at night, at bedtime. And I just put a little water and hardly any fruit juice in it because fruits do not mix with other things with me.
Yeah, okay. So here's what I'd like you to do for the next week as a little experiment, all right? Between meals, as a standalone supplement, I would like you please just to take 1 tablespoon of the OsteoFX. You can mix it with a little bit of water if you want. A tablespoon of OsteoFX, a tablespoon of water, that's a half an ounce, or that's an ounce. And you swallow that down. I want you to do 1 tablespoon, please, of the liquid calcium 4 times a day. 4 times a day. Away from food. 4 times a day away from food, right?
Okay.
1 tablespoon 4 times a day. How much of the Beyond Tangy are you getting down the hatch lately?
Half a scoop.
You put half a scoop in how much water?
12 ounces.
And how long do you take to drink that?
An hour.
And how many times do you do that?
3 times a day.
All right, I want you to back that off to twice a day, please.
Okay.
I want you to back that off to twice a day. I want you to do that calcium dosage schedule. Everything else can remain the same. And you may also want to mess around, if you haven't already, with, 1 meal 3 times a day instead of small meals throughout the day. You may just want to try that on for size and see whether or not that helps to round out your experience of this inner anxiety. Your body's been hammered by decades of eating the wrong foods and conventional medical madness, right? So we have to kind of really take baby steps here. And another thing that would be helpful, and you're probably already doing it, and you can tell me, is some type of probiotic. Are you doing probiotics on a daily basis?
I've been doing probiotics for years and enzymes too, but no HCl in my enzymes. But I got your probiotics, and I started that at night. And the first night I took it, it really bothered me, and in my bowels and everything. And so then the next times I was breaking it open, the capsule open.
Yeah.
And just taking like a half of the powder.
That's
and
interesting.
That worked better, but I think I can probably up that to a whole one.
Well, we do the digestive enzymes at the beginning of a meal. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, are you taking salt? Are you salting your food?
Yes, I am.
What type of salt do you use?
I've had Himalayan, pink, but it doesn't have iodine in it. So now I got another one. It's called Right Salt.
Yeah, and it has iodine in it, but it doesn't have any caking agent, right?
So I've been doing that. But in the past, I was because of my blood pressure, I was not using a lot of salt, and I'm using a lot more now.
Yeah, well, salt would be indicated here, especially if you have a definitive diagnosis and you do of 0 stomach acid, because remember, the two things that are necessary for your stomach to produce hydrochloric acid and, digestive juice. Your digestive juice is made up of a number of things. Hydrochloric acid is the backbone. You need salt and you need calcium. So you need to get more calcium into your body. I think if you take the Youngevity's liquid calcium in smaller doses spread out throughout the day rather than just one big one before bed, and then some in the Beyond Tangy, I think it will work better for you.
So it's 1 tablespoon of
4
the
times
FX?
a day. 4 times a day.
4 times a day. Okay.
Yeah, make sure you refrigerate it, of course, and turn it upside down and shake the heck out of it before you dispense the dose.
Okay.
Try that for 7 days. Back off on the Beyond Tangy to 2 a day instead of 3 a day. And honestly, take 2 hours to drink it down. Take 2 hours to drink it.
Okay.
There's no rush. I mean, what the heck? 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon, then you're good to go. So do that for 7 days, please, and then call me back and tell me what happened, and we'll see what to do next.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I appreciate you, Judy, very much. What a story, my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. And isn't this how it is for lots of people? I mean, they go to the MDs and they're not helped, and then they go back and then they're not helped, and then they go back and they get worse and they get worse, and then the MDs screw up and then they get worse and then they get worse. And it's like, I mean, if you were a carpenter or if you were a plumber and every single solitary time you installed somebody's toilet, it leaked and then, it didn't work, wouldn't you start questioning your installment techniques? Wouldn't you go back to plumbing school, or wouldn't you talk to somebody, that you worked with, that you mentored with, about what you're doing wrong? Well, of course you would. Then answer me this, query me this, Batman. Why don't the MDs? Why don't the MDs look and see, well, we screwed that up, and, well, we screwed that up, and, well, I've been treating these 3,000 patients for 20 years, and none of them are getting any better. They're all getting worse. Shouldn't we be doing something different? Wouldn't a rational human being make that question? They would, which leads to one of life's greatest, ironies, that your medical doctor, number one, is not rational. Your medical doctor, number two, does not have your best interests at heart. And your medical doctor, most importantly, does not know what's best for you. They only know what they've been trained in. And what they've been trained in is good for surgery when surgery is necessary. It's good for trauma care. Heaven forbid you need it. And a handful of infectious diseases. But for everything else, you just saw or heard firsthand how unbelievably ineffective their therapeutics are. We don't advise people to fire their medical doctors because we have an axe to grind. We advise people to fire their medical doctors because their therapeutics do not work. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Let's go back to James in Virginia, see if there's anything else we can clear up. Hey, James, how are you?
My phone dropped the call at some point. Yeah, you were talking about the cranial sacral chiropractic adjustments.
So a couple things. Yeah, so you need to find a chiropractor that can do that, and also assess the functional curve of her neck.
Right.
Because if that's not right, then the thyroid's not going to be right, and if the thyroid's not right, nothing's going to be right. So we do both, the nutrition plus the physical medicine.
Interesting historical thing. Before I knew her, and I just asked her a while ago because I didn't know when, but she told me about it. She was in, I don't know, somewhere. She's not from this country, but she fell on her face, knocked her front teeth out. And I'm thinking that's probably what could have contributed. All right. Well, another thing, too, I don't know, we didn't talk about the potassium. I know in previous thing you said recommend to call Dr. Wallach. I tried today, but I couldn't get through. But so you got any more updates on potassium, how we can get a little bit more potassium? Because I know she's probably a little low on that by the test.
Yeah, have her eat a banana or two every day. Bananas are loaded with potassium.
Okay, well, I can look up that list. I think sweet
Yeah, it's a
potatoes, too.
really easy thing. Potassium is really abundant in the food supply, really easy to get it in. If off the top of my head, the one of the biggest sources of food potassium is bananas. It should be a relatively easy thing to do.
Yeah, well, I can find information all over the place. But, well, I'm just curious, what about the prescription potassium they give? Is that actually bioavailable, or is that just something they do to hopefully fix something?
No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do anything that they recommend whatsoever unless I'm bleeding
Well,
to death.
other than she's got to stay on the prescription so we can get everything else fixed, obviously.
Well, maybe. I mean, if she were my patient in a private practice in a state in which I could license her, it's entirely possible I would take her off 75% of her meds. I mean, I'd have to look at it. But your point is well taken, right? That, this is not our job here, is to recommend people start or stop medications. Our job here is to just give people nutritional support, get out of the way, and see what happens. I'm pretty sure she's going to love what happens next, and I appreciate your support, Jim. Now go out there and enroll somebody else. You are awesome. Houston, Texas is up next. Let's go and talk to Chris. Hey, Chris, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. I'm on the road right now. I'm going to just pull over real quick. I'm making an emergency travel to Georgetown, which is just north of Austin. And I'm calling from my dad. He just got admitted to the emergency room yesterday.
Yikes.
And what the problem is I just found this out within a 24-hour period. And what happened, apparently last week, he was getting dressed for work in the morning. And while he was getting dressed, he lost his balance and fell over and kind of stubbed his big toe along, I guess, the bed. And from what that happened, he went to the hospital. And from what I know, they said that he fractured it. So he had a cast on it. Now, yesterday, I had family tell me he drove up to Austin to go visit them, and now they took him to the hospital because it was hurting. He felt like it wasn't getting any better. Took him to the hospital, and now they say it's infected. So this morning he calls and says that it's not getting any better from the test that they have ran, and they're pumping him with antibiotics. And what else? I think he said that they were going to wait for one more test and wanting to do surgery. Now, I kind of dropped my things, and I'm heading there right now. And so I just want to know what I should do as far as to keep him protected, so to speak.
Well, I mean, this is par for the course, right? I mean, this is just what we were talking about with a caller or two before.
That's right.
They've just completely have been let down. And even when they go in for, an emergency medical treatment, which is indicated, they screw it up. And so now he's in the weeds again, but they're never going to take responsibility for it. They're just going to cut him open again, and then they'll screw that up. And then they'll need to cut his toe off. I mean, that's eventually where this is headed, all because they didn't know what they were doing in the first place. So, inquiring minds, however, want to know, why did he pass out in the first place? I mean, right?
Right.
That would be an interesting thing to talk about. The main cause of that is low blood pressure that's not high enough. The main cause of low blood pressure is chronic mineral deficiencies. Chronic mineral deficiencies are directly related to weak bones, right? I mean, if you or I stub a toe and we're nutrified, the bone's not going to break. It's going to probably take a rock to drop on my foot to break my bone. Heaven forbid that ever happens. So he needs comprehensive nutritional support with extra minerals. The recommendation here to start him with would be the Healthy Start 2.0 liquid. One Healthy Start 2.0 liquid, 2 bottles of plant minerals, 2 bottles of selenium, and 2 bottles of glucogel per 100 pounds of body weight per month. And I have more advice, so stick on the line. I'll be right back. That's how you should feel when your medical doctor is around. That's the music that should be playing in the back of your head. Make you want to run away from them as quickly as is possible. I think it was Chris in Houston who I was talking to before the break. Chris, are you still with me?
I'm here, yes.
All right. So that's what we want to do to support bone health. Okay. So the Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid, selenium, plant-derived minerals and glucogel. I don't think I added the glucogel. 2 liquid glucogel plus per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 2 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and 1 Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Now, for immune support, you can do the Killer Biotic. And, for a raging infection in an adult, the recommendation would be 9 a day with meals, 3, 3, and 3, 9 Killer Biotic a day. And you can get colloidal silver, and you can spray the colloidal silver topically on the toe that's infected. You can get a sterile gauze bandage, and you can soak it with the colloidal silver, and you can tape it over the wound and change it every 3 or 4 hours. Change it every 3 or 4 hours, and then put it on, all night long, right? Colloidal silver topically. Colloidal silver topically. Colloidal silver topically. Killer Biotic internally. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. Eat a diet that's high in protein. And with that many antibiotics in his system, when he's done with the last dose of antibiotics, give him the root beer belly. I'd give him 3 packets a day I'd get 3 boxes, and I'd give him 3 packets a day until they're empty. I'd give him 3 packets a day of the root beer belly until they're empty, starting on the last day of the antibiotics. And, the MDs, they're like, I don't know, it's like herd mentality. They just do what everybody else does, even though it doesn't work. I don't know if the thing about the lemmings following themselves over the cliff is even true, but it's a good metaphor. The MDs just do what everybody, they just toe the party line, even though it doesn't work. And it's crazy to me that, the situation still is in place and that they still have as much power as they do. And, they'll screw up the operation and give him a secondary infection, and nothing happens to him. Nothing happens.
Yeah,
right? What would happen if your dad went to an herbalist? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I can just hear in his voice whenever he left the message, because I missed his phone call, and he's really, he's scared out of his mind. He does not want to do the operation, but he said that they wanted to. They didn't say, he didn't say that, it was absolutely necessary. This was life-threatening right now. It was, well, they just want to.
Yeah, well, of course they do. So
leave right now.
Yeah, all right, great. So you're a good son. So, right, you got to get the supplements in him as soon as possible. You could probably stop at a health food store and find colloidal silver. You could probably stop at a health food store on the way there and find some colloidal silver, and you can start that immediately today. While you're waiting for the products to arrive. I don't know if you know anybody in Houston who's a friend who has Youngevity, and you can get the stuff started. If you call the company and order it, go ahead.
Sorry, no, yeah, I'm a distributor, so I'm very familiar with how everything works, and so.
All right, so get the stuff, have them ship it to you overnight, right? So, Sort that stuff out immediately, and stop at a health food store today and get the colloidal silver, because with infections, the sooner we intervene to support immune function, the better it is. And also, let's not forget, Jewish antibiotic, which is chicken soup. And why is that so effective? Because chicken soup is a very loaded with easily digestible protein. His immune system, your immune system, my immune system is made from protein. So whenever we're trying to upregulate immune function, it's a good idea to increase protein consumption. Not all proteins are created equal. Eggs are the protein, chicken eggs are the protein that all other proteins are compared to. Chicken soup, really easily digestible protein. Rice and beans together in one meal is a protein, but that's got some carbohydrate in it, so I'm not sure I'd go there. Because the other thing that we want to do when we're trying to upregulate immune function is to really just stop eating any extracurricular sugar. I mean, 0, not even honey. Right? No honey, no maple syrup, no agave, no nothing. If he wants something sweet, he can have a non-glycemic sweetener like stevia or sucralose or the other one that I can't remember, but xylitol. Other than that, though, just eliminate sugar completely. And keep your fingers crossed. And, for goodness sake, it's not the doctor's body. It's his body. All he has to do is say no and walk away. And if I were him, that's what I would do.
Okay.
All right, Chris. Yeah, man, stay in touch. Call me every day if you need to. Keep me in the loop here. I want to keep my fingers on this pulse. So let me know how it goes and what happens, because there's always something to do. I appreciate your trust very much. Isn't that something, folks? I mean, isn't that something? And we wonder why, the economy is going bankrupt. We wonder why that in the province of Alberta they spend, $50 million a day trying to prop up a medical system. Why? Because it doesn't work, and nobody's saying this. I mean, Obama thinks that the solution is to have everybody insured, to give everybody access to medicine, but he doesn't get it. Or maybe he does get it, and he's just a puppet of the big pharma. I don't know. I have no idea. But the medical system in the world does not need to be upregulated or downregulated, tweaked, managed, or massaged. It's not a function of, bad management. It's not a function of mismanagement. It's not a function of more research or, more efficient, effective training of the doctor. Medicine doesn't need to be regulated. It needs to be abandoned because it's not medicine. It's MD-directed, reductionistic, allopathic, pharmaceutical centrist medicine. It's not homeopathic medicine. It's not naturopathic medicine. It's not acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine. It's not medical nutrition. It's none of these. It's MD-directed, allopathic, reductionistic medicine. And as you have seen in spades on today's radio show, for chronic diseases, it does not work. It does not work. While people are under the care of MDs, they get worse and worse and worse. They get worse. And we keep going back to them. And now the president makes it mandatory for us to gain insurance to gain access to them. You have to buy insurance now, or they'll penalize you. Now, is that fair and just? Is that equitable? No, it's nonsense. It's old-fashioned. It's outdated. And, we're the only ones saying it. And, you can wait 100 years for my message to enter into the mainstream. You can wait 100 years for society at large to get it and for things to shift. You can wait. Or you can just become, an insider right now. Join Youngevity right now. And immerse yourself in the knowledge. Immerse yourself in the understanding. Immerse yourself in the simple study. It's a simple study. If you know how to pass the driver's license test, you know how to make your body healthy. You do. And we'll teach you how to do it. I mean, how's conventional medicine working for you? How's it working for you? Are you happy? You good? Y'all good with that? Well, if you're not, there is another way. And here it is right here, right now, in real time. You don't need to wait 100 years. By the way, most people will be dead by then. I won't, but most people will be. I am Dr. Glidden, and this is the drgliddenshow.tv. Remember, if you like the message that we talk about and you're listening on terrestrial radio, please listen for the commercial breaks and call the number that your radio program gives out, because there is a Youngevity member in your town inside of your signal distance who is ready, willing, and able right now to show you the ropes. If you were brought to this radio program, either the radio program itself, the webcast, or the video cast, then get with the person who brought you here to find more information. And if you find me all by your lonesome, then call 844-347-3696. That's 844. Hold on. Don't quote me on that number. I think I got it wrong. 855-347-3696. 855-347-3696. That's it. 855-347-3696, or go to drglidden.com. Hey, my good friend Dave, and the thumb is up. Hey, Dave. Thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hey, Doc, I hate to correct you, but it's 844-374-5433.
That's to call into the radio show.
That's the call in, to ask a question.
Yeah, that's the number to call in to ask a question.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah. But for information about Youngevity, it's an 800 number. I appreciate the heads up, though, Dave.
Hey, I got a 74-year-old new distributor CEO.
Excellent. 74 years old, signed up as a CEO. You're doing all the right things, Dave. You must live right.
This guy is awesome, but he's been pretty healthy most of his life. But he's getting diarrhea from the 2.0. I got him pretty dialed in, diluted, but he increased from 1 scoop to 2 scoops, and from a quart of water to a half a gallon. He's drinking it all day, but he's still getting the diarrhea, and he's got scaly skin on either side of his nostrils. And he said his wife made some 15-bean soup over the weekend, and now those scales are all the way down to like the corners of his mouth.
Okay, so that's an essential fatty acid deficiency specifically.
That's what I said. He needs more EFAs, right?
Well, yeah, and look, if he's getting diarrhea from that diluted dose of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, his intestinal tract is like, I'm surprised he's alive, quite frankly.
Wow.
So he needs to find a dose of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine that he can tolerate.
Right.
Find a dose that's not going to upset the apple cart and just stick with it. And, for him, a better strategy with the Beyond Tangy would be to find a dose that he's okay with, and stick with it for 14 days, 2 weeks, and then push the envelope up a little bit, right?
Yep.
Then push the envelope up a little bit, all the while with something this intense as far as, a reaction to the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. He's got to be taking 1 or 2 digestive enzymes before a meal.
Okay.
Because that's going to increase absorption. And he also should be on board with the Nightly Essence or the Flora FX before bed to help support and promote the bounce back in the gut.
Right. Now,
and I don't even
really
want him to look at the 10
eating.
bad foods, let alone, I don't even want him to look at the 10 bad foods. 0 tolerance. That's very important.
He says he's on the 10 bad foods list, and he's juicing for breakfast. He's eating some, boiled eggs for lunch, and he's eating his dinner. But he used to not even eat lunch. He's trying to get them eggs in, but I think he's having some of that diarrhea from he was just juicing fruit. And I told him,
well, that would do it. If you just juice fruit and you've got a funky digestive tract, then that's going to mess you up. I wouldn't do that. Tell him to do the eggs for breakfast instead.
Okay.
Have him do, 8 ounces of... have him do the carrot, apple, beet juice. Carrot, apple, beet juice mixture. Have him do that instead.
Can you hold me over?
See if... Yeah, I'll pull you over to the other side.
Okay.
Hold on, buddy. We'll be back. Stick around, folks. More to come. Back in the saddle, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate your hanging out with me today for 2 hours. Let's go to Dave in the Thumb, and then maybe we'll be able to go to Ann in Texas. All right, Dave, what do you got?
A couple of gals, they work together. They both have rods in their back and screws. Curve in their. Is that scoliosis? I'm not sure, but what causes that, and is there anything we can do to help them?
Well, not when there's a rod in the back. So the MDs, right, they have no idea what causes things. They have no idea that the body can fix itself. And so they have these really like medieval interventions. So they'll have somebody with a curved back. And what they do is they'll cut them, they'll slice them open, they'll fillet them open like a fish, and they'll stick a titanium rod in the back. And then they'll screw the spine to it in order to help to straighten the spine out. It's a very painful operation. It's a big bad voodoo daddy. And it does not address the original cause, because from our point of view, why don't the bones grow properly? Well, probably because there are nutrient deficiencies across the board, generating weak and unhealthy bones, ligaments, and tendons. And so the surgical procedure does not strengthen the bones, ligaments, or tendons. And oftentimes what will happen is people who have this, after 5 or 10 years, the screws start to pop out because the bones are weak, right? And it's kind of like screwing a screw into rotten wood. Or if you screw a screw into healthy wood, and then over the years it becomes rotten and the screw just pulls right out. Well, it's the same thing. So the people that have rods in their spine, by definition, have unhealthy skeletal systems. And so the recommendation here in a prudent person is to strengthen their skeletal system. And we do that. You know how to do that with the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack. Eliminate the 10 bad foods and no soda pop. All right?
All right. You're awesome, man. Thank you so
Dave.
much, Doc.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Keep up the good work up there in Michigan. Finishing out the show with Texas. Let's talk to Ann about her thyroid. Hey, Ann, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi. I was just wondering, I had gone to the doctor regarding a thyroid condition, and she took a lot of blood work and all and said that, there was like thyroid antibodies. And so it's gone from hypo to hyper, and we've been, doing this, and I take a compounded formula, and it hardly ever stays the same. And I've been doing this for like over 8 months, and I was wondering and I just have low energy and stuff, and at times it does seem better, but I don't sleep well at all. So I'm wondering what kind of products that y'all might have, for someone that's on a limited budget, but something that might target that.
Okay, so what I'd advise you to do to kind of educate yourself about this is go to my website, drglidden.com, and click on the link Become an Insider, even just for 1 month. It's $20. You can cancel after the first month if you want, because I did a really good webinar on general thyroid health, and I did a really good webinar on autoimmune disease. And, they'll tell you that you have Hashimoto's thyroiditis or that there are antibodies against your thyroid tissue, and then they're going to recommend all kinds of arcane protocols to manage that, not to fix it. We believe that they've gotten that completely wrong, that they've misinterpreted the data, and that the antibodies that are present are not causing the disease. The antibodies are the result of the disease. So there's a lot for you to kind of take in here and understand, so that you'll be armed with knowledge so that you can make the appropriate choices moving forward, rather than just do what this doctor, that doctor, or another doctor tells you to do, right? Knowledge really is of maximum importance here. So I would encourage you to do that. Go to my website, Become an Insider, and watch the webinars that I did about these two things. Now, the short version of this situation is you need to find a chiropractor who can take an X-ray of your neck, a lateral X-ray of your neck, and address the curvature.
I just had that done.
You've had that?
I just recently had that done, but there's a lot of disc degeneration in my neck, but they said I have what's called a military neck. There's no curvature. Then
that's what's causing the thyroid problem, because so the chiropractor should, if they were worth their weight in gold, then they should have been able to. Did they give you exercises that you can do to put the curve back?
Not yet, because we're saying I need to go for several months, and even though I have good insurance, my out-of-pocket was going to be about $1,000.
Yeah, no, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. So you want to find somewhere. Yeah, I bet you could find it do a Google search for how to get rid of military neck. There's some really pretty simple exercises that you do. And if you watch the webinars that I produced, it will tell you what to do with thyroid. To start with, I would order 2 bottles of Cherry Mens and 2 bottles of selenium. 2 bottles of Cherry Mens and 2 bottles of selenium. Watch the webinars, eliminate the 10 bad foods, and then call me back for clarification if you need it. I appreciate your call.